opening the public hearing portion of today's meeting. The purpose of the public hearing is for citizen comments concerning. We have 4 items. The first item is planned development located at 1020 Old Moscow Mills Road, the Hamptons Phase 3. The second item is to rezone C1 Central Business District to R2 Planned Development, Single Family Residential District, Planned Development Overlay for Park Hills Estates. This item, it will actually be, we won't be voting on tonight. I'm sorry. My apologies, I mixed that. No, that's correct. Correct. Sorry. Okay, so this item will not be voted on tonight. If you're here to speak to it, you still may. If you want to talk about the rezoning for that area, you're welcome to, but they've moved this to our calendar for next month, so we'll have another public hearing and the vote will be held in the November meeting. The third item is PZ 250010, conditional use permit for Old Puppy LLC, a retail pet store located at 15 Plaza. Item D is bill number 1437, adding a chapter 410 subdivision regulations by establishing section 410.125 requiring public improvements maintenance guarantees. And the last item is bill 1438, updating the Title IV attachment Table 1 building, planning and zoning, stormwater and water and sewer connection fees. Anyone who's here who would like to speak to any one of those items, the floor is yours. Come up, state your name, make your comment to the board, please. If we don't have anybody, we'll give 10 or 15 minutes and then we'll close the public hearing.
Ladies and gentlemen, quick question. For the Park Hills rezoning for the community,
Yes.
are these houses in any way, shape, or form going to be Section 8 housing? This is a general question.
So what the intention of, we assume that they're going to sell these homes now, but we don't have any inclination. What they're asking for is the right to build homes in this commercial area, so that'll be the change of zoning. But what their intention are, once they're built, we have no idea.
Okay. If it was to be that way, would the homeowners be notified of something of that nature?
I don't believe there would be any requirement that the builder would have to do that if they were going to be owned, but everything else out there has been built and sold. They have not indicated that they have any different idea except that these are going to be a little different style of home is all.
Okay. My question obviously is property value.
I understand.
And it would drastically affect it if it becomes Section 8 housing.
Okay.
So,
Can I speak on that a minute?
I was going to say, can we answer? Because the builder has come to us, at least some of us, and spoken to us and shown us, and they are not that described as Section 8 housing.
okay, so it would be for personal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sir,
Yes.
if I'm right, the one that I talked to from Park Hills, I can't think of his name right now.
Adam.
I met with him out there because he was discussing the front of that, where they wanted to put homes on smaller lots.
Correct.
The same size homes, just a little bit smaller lots. One of the things that I asked him was, when they put these homes on the smaller lots and they reduced the value or reduced the price to buy these homes, one of the things that I requested of him was that these be sold and not be used as rental property.
Okay.
That was the one thing that I did ask him. And I would like to see that in writing before then, but he assured me that it would be homes for sale.
Okay.
And one of the things that I also asked him was that I didn't want to see something go in front that reflected or reduced the property values of the homes right behind them. Now granted, I think there's 2 or 3 lots right behind that's not built yet.
Correct.
But like I told him, I said, I don't want these in front to reduce the property values for these in the back.
Okay.
And I didn't want them to be renters.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, that was one of my main concerns, because I know sometimes you get into the rental properties and you can be asking for problems.
Yes.
Not all renters are like that. Don't take it that way. There's a lot of good renters, but I want to be able to make affordable housing for people that every dollar does count.
I understand.
And he assured me that they would not be for rentals, but we need to get that in writing first.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Permission to speak, Mr. Mayor?
Certainly.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen who are all here serving our community. My name is Terry Black. I live over on Rio Grande Court in the Park Hill subdivision. And Mr. I don't know how to say your last name there.
Dieter?
I really appreciate your comments and you doing your job and trying to work for us and really trying to do the right thing. It's what it sounds like to me.
Rachel and I both have talked to this gentleman.
Pardon me?
Rachel and I have both talked to this gentleman.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you. So some of what I'm going to say is going to be a little redundant, but I want my comments on the record, okay? First of all, Mr. Mayor, and for Mr. Burkemper, I am remiss in not sending you a letter of appreciation for something that happened shortly after we moved to Troy a little over a year and a half ago. I had a question about a connection from your sewer, the city sewer, our sewer, to a lateral line on my property, and I cannot tell you how blown away, how impressed I was with the reaction from Mr. Burkemper's department and how quickly they answered my question and helped me resolve an issue. And I'm still kind of in awe of how I was treated, especially as someone who was brand new to the community. I mean, so I wanted to make sure I got that out there. I should have written you a letter, so shame on me.
That's quite all right. We have great.
Because you get plenty of those other letters, and you need a good one every now and then, right?
That's right.
Well, all right. A little bit about myself. I'm a former public official. In other words, I'm a recovering politician. I served 2 terms in an area, and my electorate was 83,000 registered voters. So I had to get a plurality of 83,000 registered voters twice to serve. After the 2nd term, I was tired, and I retired. Constituency was 151 square miles. We had a $175 million budget, and we had 2,500 employees. So I only bring that up to tell you that I respect your service. I understand some of what you go through. I don't know your specifics. I know the ones I went through. And there's a lot of days where it's not fun, right? But I appreciate your service, and I'm here to pay respect to you tonight. So please take any remark I have as nothing but respectful. In regards to the issue the first speaker brought up, we moved here because we saw the city of Troy as a city on the move, as a city going in the right direction. This place is trending up. And the reason we moved here is I believe it's going to trend up, and I think with this leadership that I'm standing before, this city will continue to trend up. I believe that. Those aren't just words, I believe that. But that area that you were just talking about, shame on me for not checking it out before I purchased my home. I thought that was green space. How in the world is somebody going to build anything on that? And what's going to happen with the lake, that retention pond, whatever you want to call it? And I understand they own it, and somebody owns it and they can do something with it, but that looks to me like it ought to be a buffer zone. And from the community I moved from, that would have been a buffer zone. I understand we're not that community. I get it. So shame on me for not checking into it. But I just don't see how approving tiny homes for agenda item 250004 next month, I don't see much to your point how that's going to improve property values. And that's when you heard that one lone little applause earlier when the first man. So what happens to the retention pond? How in the world are you going to build something over there that's really going to make our community better and make our community a better place? And I really appreciate you two asking these questions about, so you're going to do this so you can turn them into rental properties? Yeah. I don't trust it. It's just my opinion. I'm allowed to put that out there. I don't trust it. And when it comes before you next month, I'm asking you to deny it. I'm asking you to use common sense. Sounds like we've already practiced a little bit of common sense here. And doing your homework, once again. I had to do a lot of homework when I served, and I know what you're doing there. I'm going to leave it with you. And just one last thing. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Debbie Vitale. I live in the Park Hill subdivision on Yellowstone Drive. This little property area that they browse wants to have rezoned as residential. I don't see how 12 houses that they're saying are going to be tiny houses. Because I live in one of the smaller houses. I don't live in the smallest, but I do live in a smaller house. And if these are the lots that they are saying are going to come, there's no way a 15 or 1,600 square foot house is going to fit in this. And they're going to come out on Park Hills Parkway. I just don't see that happening. All that traffic, and I know y'all are limiting the amount of access to Main Street, but all this property, all these houses come down on Park Hills. It's already, I mean, there are lights there, but it's not well lit, because when you have kids up there in the morning, you can't see what those kids are doing. You have to drive super slow. And I already know from watching the construction people down on the next section that they're trying to work on, they are blowing through stop signs in the subdivision. What are they going to be doing up there when the kids are up there and it's dark? Especially now with the time change coming up and the kids are going to be out there. I just don't see how all these houses will fit in that little area. You know, I'd like to see if they gotta put houses up there, maybe half that many houses. I don't want anything out there. Personally, I like the nature, I like the trees, and I know there's weeds and stuff, but I kind of like that area because you can see where like deer and stuff are laying down and the grass is back there. But I'm asking to deny Rouse this.
Okay.
I just don't think it's right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to speak on the items on the public hearing agenda?
I've got a few questions on A for the Hamptons. If somebody can answer that.
Good evening.
Good evening. I know that we had talked about special construction entrances for these because I know some of the people's concerns were the traffic, the heavy traffic, and the big trucks and stuff crossing to the existing streets that are there. I know that there's something that's going in place and they take all the pictures of everything. Any of the damages incurred, they will fix after that. But one of my concerns was, and this is something that happens in planning and zoning quite regularly when somebody has a home business, per se. Dave, you can help me out here if I get off base. But one of the concerns was added traffic to like subdivisions when people own home business. And they're talking about the added traffic in the neighborhood, per se. Well, with these businesses going in the front of this development facing Highway 61, the only way in and out of that is through the subdivision. Am I right or wrong?
When the commercial area gets built, it will be connected to Old Moscow Mills Road,
Okay. So,
right? The driveway connects, so that access to the businesses will be off of Old Moscow Mills Road.
Okay.
And then if the outer road that ever comes in the future, it's planned to connect to that as well.
I know rumors are rumors, and you hear things, and some are true, some are false. Take it with a grain of salt, especially in sitting up here, because you don't know if you don't ask questions. But I know that road was voted down in the past, and I also heard that there was some private money wanted to be put into that road as well. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, I do not know. But one of my concerns is because you got that entrance on, which would be the south side of that, where the commercial is. People are like ants, they take the easiest route to get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter if there's somebody starts a path through a yard, they're gonna follow it. You know, that's just in human nature. And with that entrance that was developed to that commercial down at this end, looks like it goes into the subdivision. Yeah, correct. They'll get used tremendously. So, you know, that, once again, that falls back into that. We deny home businesses simply because of the foot traffic and the traffic that's created through the subdivision. And I was wondering, you know, one of my concerns there, I think the development's good. It's smaller than what it was. It doesn't have as much impact. But those businesses in front, feel that there needs to be one a road out in front, or maybe down the road or something connected to the subdivision. I know it may be inconvenient for the people in the subdivision to have to go to the other entrance to get in and out. But that one street there is going to catch a tremendous amount of traffic. And at the last meeting, there were some people there that was concerned about the children's welfare in that area. And I was just kind of curious, you know, because I do not want to see any child get hurt, adult or anything, you know, don't want to see anyone get hurt. And I understand kids are kids. But, you know, just kind of curious about that, because it's going to direct that, with that entrance being on the other end, that's going to direct that flow of traffic to that subdivision at this point.
Like going through the subdivision, you're going through every stop sign. If you just go out to Old Moscow Mills Road, there's no stop signs once you get on that road until you get, you know, down by the elm tree. I know the subdivision had concerns about the amount of traffic that's already in their development, but
With growth, you're going to have to traffic, I understand that. There's no way to stop it. Like I said, and I understand their concern, because like I said earlier, people are like ants. They will definitely take the easiest route to get from point A to point B. And so that was part of my concern, was because even though the construction entrances are off Old Moscow Mills Road, that I'm kind of curious about that road in front that's not there, you know.
and we have reserved the right of way for that road so that if and when it were to be built, it would not be encumbered by this development. But is there a major difference between connecting to that road and connecting right to Old Moscow Mills Road? I mean, MoDOT won't allow us to do the right in, right out
No.
at 61. They're closing down every one of those they can.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
And per the, never mind, I was gonna say for the fire district, we're less than that.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that, because I know that some of the comments at the last meeting, a lot of the citizens were concerned about the added traffic in that area. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted the construction entrances off of the other end. But I'm just looking at, as farther down the road, that when those are all complete, their traffic has to be somewhere. And that will put it right through that subdivision. So I just want to point that out.
Okay, thank you. Does any other citizen have any comment on the items on the public hearing?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Patrick Lukens. I live at 99 Hampton. First and foremost, Sean, Danny, gentlemen are great. I definitely agree with this, and I think this is great moving forward. However, my issue resides with the current neighborhood. So I brought this to the last meeting, was told to kind of do some research, put some things together, and this was the meeting to address my concerns that I had. Talking about the Hamptons neighborhood, we have areas where their sidewalks are not finished throughout the neighborhood. So the kids don't have a safe way to get through. They have to walk in the street. Now, part of our neighborhood is owned by the city of Troy. Part of our neighborhood is owned by would be Cannon Builders LLC. But even on the portion that is owned, like 116 Williamsburg, there's no sidewalk. It just stops, skips that house, picks back up. So why that is, I don't know. As far as the back half, the Cannon Builders still technically owns. The city, I plow snow for a living.
Cannon doesn't have anything to do with that, so try not to mention names because it...
Okay.
Yeah.
So
If
the
you want to
back
address
half of
your-
my neighborhood is private property, essentially. The streets are private property. They do not belong to the city. They do not belong to the neighborhood. The back half, however, has been plowed. I've plowed snow for a living. Past 3 years, been plowed by the city. Then you have Rockford Drive was damaged and buckled this year. This is the second or third time it's happened since I bought my house, 2018. The city did come in and repair that this year. Portion of it was private property, portion of it was city property. We have the retention area at the back of our neighborhood and one directly behind my house. That is deemed Hampton HOA, so I started digging into that and researched that, and it actually comes back to being owned by a bank out of St. Louis that, excuse me, has the same address as the owner of the public or the private property at the back of our neighborhood. It doesn't actually belong to an HOA because we don't have an HOA. Even states in our contracts when we buy our house, there's no HOA. So it's kind of weird how that kind of works out. So that area has become overgrown. Can't really do anything about it because nobody owns it. We can't do anything with it. But furthermore, we've had City of Troy police officers come out. The back half of our neighborhood being private property, can't enforce it. So they can't enforce speeding. They don't ticket anybody for it. They don't do anything about the stop signs, things of that sort because, once again, private property. Now, I started doing some research after I talked to you, sir, Mr. Towns, last time. So the city can use, from what I'm understanding, and I'm still rough in doing all my research here. So I'm not trying to step on anybody's feet or try to force anybody to do anything. I'm just doing my research. So what I was told by the state is the city can use escrow and surety bonds to finish the construction that was held by the builders, the private property owners. Also, the sidewalks are mandatory by city code on one side of the street throughout the neighborhood. They were there in the original building plan as well, which was approved, but not now throughout the neighborhood. They are not done. The state also says that the city can use performance bonds to fix and maintain while seeking legal action against the private property owner behind us. We have 60 homes paying taxes at an average of $2K to the city per home. It's about $120K a year. The city said that if we wanted to dispute this, we could actually file our taxes in dispute until it was deemed fixed in the back of the neighborhood. That was one thing they said. Now, another issue we have is at the back of our neighborhood, we do have a registered offender in the back of our neighborhood, which has kind of played chaos for the bus stops and the kids trying to get on the bus. So the kids have to travel a little distance to be able to get on the bus. And when you don't have sidewalks and we have this influx of traffic coming through the neighborhood, it makes it a terrible situation for the kids. But not only that, you now have a back third of our neighborhood pushing all the way forward. So all these kids and these cars are all piled up in these intersections, trying to put kids on the bus. And it's because the kids can't walk the sidewalk, so the parents therefore drive them there. So it just creates massive choke points both morning and afternoon. Now, it kind of seemed like from what I was talking to the city, or to the state, I was being told that we're kind of having the homeowners hold to one standard and the private property owners being held to another. So they went a little different. They also said if it's creating a dangerous condition, the city can step in and remedy that situation and go after the property owner. Also, they went into VA requirements. I know there's several people in our neighborhood that have VA home loans. And it says that we have to have safe access to the property, must be accessible from all weather public or private streets without having to go through another person's property. And now we're going through another person's private property because it cannot get it remedied. Once again, the property is technically owned by Jefferson Bank out of St. Louis at 2301 Market Street. So with all this, I started reaching out. They told me to reach out to DOT. They said we could have DOT come out, inspect the roads, the conditions of the roads, and then DOT can make a determination whether we should pursue further action or if the city would actually fix the roads that we currently have. And like I said, we could file for our taxes under protest this year, the entire neighborhood. And then also VA homeowners would no longer be eligible within our neighborhood until it's remedied. They also told me to contact the Attorney General. I have not. They told me to contact the Missouri State Auditor's Office. I have not. I was warned that I could contact the news and also I could contact Morgan & Morgan. I have not gone to any of those steps. I'm not trying to strong arm anybody. I like these gentlemen. I like what they do for our community. I got no problem with this development. It is way better than what was originally there. My issue is we that already are established in the neighborhood, our neighborhood is kind of going to shambles. And we've been hearing and we've been reaching out to people for years, nothing is getting done. Now with the influx of traffic, we need the sidewalks for the kids. I mean, that's just hands down, that's safety. We need the roads to be able, to not stop up. I mean, you guys, the city came through and marked up our neighborhood about the bad spots in the roads, like it was gonna get fixed. I mean, so we know the damage is done, we know the roads are in poor condition, we need them fixed. I know our entrance has been fixed once, but it's back to falling apart again as well. So what we're trying to figure out is one, how do we get the city to take over the rest of the neighborhood, or do we have to go after the private property and then try to get that property out of auction or whatever, because essentially, from what I'm understanding, that LLC has gone down and is now become an S corp. So that property is kind of in limbo. So what do we need to do if the neighborhood needs to go after them, or if the city is going to step in and actually help us to make it safe before this construction starts? I am all for it. Once again, the construction, it's better than what we had, but with the influx of traffic that is going to be coming down those streets, if the kids have nowhere to walk, we have roads that are congested already by cars trying to get to these very limited bus stops we have, and then the roads are already crumbling. You start putting dump trucks, you start putting trucks pulling skid steers, heavy equipment on it. We're just asking for a nightmare to come. So once again, those are my concerns as of right now. I know, sir, you said that we were going to have a one-on-one eventually. I would like to leave you a business card today before I leave. But those are my concerns. I greatly appreciate every one of you listening and hearing what I have to say, and I wish you a great evening. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, does anybody else have any comments on the items that are on the public hearing for tonight?
Hello.
Hi.
My house directly backs up against the new construction that's going to be happening in Park Hills. And we were just kind of concerned, for one, that it's going to depreciate the value of our homes, and two, we were told once we originally bought the lot that we were going for, that there would be nothing ever backing up our house, which is kind of the reason why we went for that lot. So I guess we are just a little bit upset about that. And just the amount of land and everything, and they're trying to put in like 12 houses, I think. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the best thing, and we aren't really too happy about it, so we just wanted to come and voice our concerns. Just, that's about it.
Very good, thank you.
What's your name? I'm sorry, what's your name?
Alexis.
Thank you.
I'll make this quick, guys. I know we're kind of long. So I'm going to talk about the C1, the rezoning 25-4. I do concur with everything that Mr. Black has said. I agree with him 100%, and also thank you guys for service, as well as what Mrs. Vitale has said. Well, I just want to add a few things on to their concerns. One of the big things that we've been talking about amongst us, everybody on Rio Grande. First of all, my name is Philip Zarillo. I live on Rio Grande Drive in Parkdale. Sorry about that. Trying to make it quick.
Sorry.
Anyway, we're concerned about the traffic too. When we look at the drawing or the plan, the traffic's going to dump out right on Park Hills. really close to where Park Hills runs into Main Street, as well as where it runs into the other street that goes, Central Parkway. So, and right now there's bus stops there, there's no sidewalks. So really, that's a really dangerous area. Because if cars are gonna be coming in, if you think about it, if you looked at the drawing, I think you guys may have seen it, it looks really dangerous. I mean, I'm worried about it for the kids there, as well as me. I drive that way to work every day. So now I gotta be at risk of cars coming in and out, et cetera. So that was one concern. The other concern is what Rouse has told you guys. You know, they told us a lot of things too. I don't think anybody in here who's bought a home from them trusts them. So your comment, sir, you know, about getting in writing, whatever you all decide to do and vote on it, which I hope you voted in our way, that you do get it in writing, because like the Lexus had said, they tell us a lot of things and they do the exact opposite. When we bought the home, they told us that the homes were going to be a certain size, a certain value, that this was going to be a upscale, you know, development, where we didn't have to worry about smaller homes coming in, lower prices, rentals, rental, you know, Section 8, that sort of thing. So, you know, they tell us that, and then they started, when they couldn't sell all the lots, they started selling smaller homes, which is okay. I mean, we got good people in them, but it's just the track record of them being dishonest. So please, make sure you get it in writing, whatever you all agree upon from them. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Anybody else on the items on the public hearing? Okay, if not, I'm going to close the public hearing. And I'm going to call the meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order. We do have a quorum present. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please join us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the meeting tonight. Okay, item 2. We have a vacancy in Ward 2. I'd like to appoint Mr. Jim Wallace. I spoke with him after last meeting. He was gracious enough to agree to allow me to nominate him for the unexpired term of Mitchell Bryant. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve Mr. Wallace's appointment.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Doonard, seconded by Alderman Laws. Any questions or comments on this before we call the roll?
So this will expire in '26.
So this vacancy will be filled until the next municipal election, which will occur the first Tuesday after the first Monday in April of 2026. Okay, I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Doonard? Yes. Horner?
Yes.
Huffman?
Yes.
Laws?
Yes.
Bryant? I'm sorry, Peter? I'm sorry, I forgot to take him off my thing. Peter?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Alderman Wallace. If you'll step up here. My city clerk will administer your oath.
Jim Wallace,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
necessary to uphold the duties
necessary to uphold the duty
in the office of Alderman of Ward 2.
the office of
Alderman.
Ward 2,
That I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of Missouri,
affecting cities of the fourth class,
affecting cities of the fourth class,
the ordinances of the city of Troy,
the ordinances of the city of Troy,
and faithfully demean myself
and faithfully demean myself
while in the office
while in the office
of Alderman of Ward 2
of Alderman of Ward 2,
for which I have been appointed
for which I have been appointed
this 20th day of October 2025.
this 20th day of October 2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's move on to item 3. We'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar. Okay, we have item 4I removed. What else?
I would like to remove 5B.
Okay, 5B, anybody else? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of 4I and 5B?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Huffman, seconded by Alderman Horner. Call the roll, please.
Huffman,
Yes.
Laws,
Yes.
Dieter,
Yes.
Junior,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
and Wallace.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Okay, item 4I. Yeah, approved utility bad debt write-off for the period September 1st, 2023 through August 31st of 2024 in the amount of $10,829.58.
Okay. Just a couple questions. So this is people that have defaulted on water bill, I assume? Okay, so when you move in, you have to put down a deposit. So this doesn't count.
It
We've already
goes
taken-
towards their final bill, and if there's a remaining balance, they're still going to pay it. So it's what they haven't paid after that's been applied.
I got you. So if they come back into the city someplace else, they still owe us this before we
Yes,
connect
we'll
their
collect
water.
that plus in the deposit.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good, you want to make a motion on that?
Oh,
4I then, please?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I have a question on that
Okay, sorry.
as well. I know this sounds crazy and kind of redundant when you get into the rental properties, but are these rental properties, or are these people actually homeowners that just walked away from the property?
It's mixtures.
And the reason I ask that, because years ago, and Ron would be the only one here that would probably remember that, probably Linda, but we had passed something that made the landlords responsible for that because they were operating this as a business.
I don't recall, I mean, we talked about it a lot, but I
So
don't
the
know.
state statute allows for that, but it was never adopted by the city of Troy by ordinance. It was discussed but never adopted.
Well, you got backwards. Used to, the landlord was responsible and the city voted to turn it over to the renters.
But state statute allows us to put that in place?
I can't hardly fathom the fact that we took away the
So-
responsibility from the landlords because that night looked like,
Before your time.
Anyway, we don't have an ordinance to hold them accountable as it stands now.
I remember the discussion because it was one of them things that we only had a crowd of people when there was two topics brought up, pit bulls and anything to do with landlords. Anything with rental property landlords or pit bulls, this place was full. Any other time that Bobby Simmons sat right over there and that was it.
I don't think Simmons ever sat here.
Yeah, Bobby sat there.
Okay, so, yeah, anything else on this particular item? We can have a discussion. If you'd like to put somebody on the agenda for next month to discuss changing our ordinance.
Yeah, we need to do something because,
Okay, so,
like I say,
next month you can have that placed on the agenda. We will consider changing our ordinance to adopt some different way of going after landlords.
I have a question too.
Yes.
Do we ever put liens against these people, against the property for doing that?
No, we just send it to collection.
So basically, we just don't get the money?
Not, a lot of it, no, we don't.
We do have a collection company that continues to try to collect, and then, we do have systems in place. If they do come back and try to get a water account, they're held responsible, but at some point, you've exhausted all your avenues, and this is the option, so. It doesn't mean we're not going to still turn it over and have someone try to collect, but they take a percentage, so we don't get the full.
I'll make a motion, we approve 4I.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion by Alderman Laws, seconded by Alderwoman Huffman. And call the roll, please.
Laws,
Yes.
Peter,
Yeah.
Unert,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Huffman,
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, PZ 25007, by recommendation of Planning and Zoning, approved plan development of 1020 Old Moscow Mills Road, the Hamptons Phase 2.
I would like to table this to vote on it until our engineer that we've now contracted with could look at it and make sure that the roads and the safety of the concern that the citizens inside of that subdivision have can be looked at and make sure all of it's good and then vote. So I would like to make a motion to table it.
I'll second that.
Okay, we don't have any specific questions about the item, we just have a motion to table.
Just so I want our engineer that we now contract with to look at it, to give a second opinion to make sure that it is safe for the children and the neighbors that are in that subdivision before it begins. And we voted to use our engineer to do that, so why not let them do that?
We seem to have quite a few people who have concerns.
They don't have concerns about that issue. I think it's a great development also.
Right.
But the issue lies with the safety inside of there and the issue of the city-owned, not city-owned, stat, all the things. So
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Unert to table item 5B, seconded by Alderwoman Huffman. Any discussion on the motion to table? Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Unert,
yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Huffman,
Yes.
Laws,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, that gives us item 4.
It should be the next one.
I'm sorry.
Is there a timeline, like, is it 1 month, 6 months?
I apologize, it should have been tabled to a certain date, but we don't have any idea what exactly we're going to contract to review. We're going to have a conversation about what exactly this entails and whether or not there'll be any determination. Anytime we table something, it's normally till the next meeting, so by virtue of the fact that that's normally the way it would come up under old business next month, so I don't know.
Is it fact that there is a survey that's been contracted?
I'm sorry?
Is there an engineer that's been contracted?
What are concurring?
The city has an on-call services agreement with a firm, yes. The specifics of this I don't know yet.
That's a new contract you guys are in?
It is.
Besides the scope of work, which we'll have to discuss, I did want to make sure that we understood on Bill 1438. We're only first reading that this evening, and that is the bill that would allow the city to pass along all review fees that are deemed necessary by the city to the developer, the applicants. Currently, that is not what our ordinance says. So if we're going to go down this road between now and the next meeting, the city and the taxpayers are going to be paying whatever that bill is for the review. So I just want to make sure that's clear, because we're only first reading this tonight. We don't have a provision to allow for 2 readings in one night in the city, do we? So we wouldn't be able to assess that fee until the next meeting when we second read this ordinance. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
We haven't budgeted any money for that purpose either. So we'll have to do a budget amendment and come up with a scope of
We need to
work.
make sure we have a good scope of work. So we
Yeah, the
understand
scope of
what
work
we're
is the difficult part. So coming up with that by next month would be tricky in itself. But
If we read this ordinance, if we did get a second reading on this ordinance, we could pass along those fees, is my point. So we wouldn't have to incur the costs ourselves. Maybe do that
and if they wanted to have a special meeting to have the second reading, so that way we can have the review and pass along the fees.
Okay. Item 4, we're up to citizen comments. First up, I have Karen Leonard, Park Hills blasting.
Hello. I would like to address the board on the issue of blasting in the Park Hill subdivision. My name is Karen Leonard, and I'm one of the residents that's right there and affected. I know I've sent an email to you, Mayor, and to Mr. Lindsay as well. We would like to just know where we stand with the permits on this. I know you had mentioned that the Rowells didn't have the permits, but it wouldn't be Rowells, it would be Ed's Drilling. We're just wondering if you would have any updates on that.
As of now, as of today, we have not received any application for a permit from anyone for blasting.
Okay, and our concern is we are getting these emails, these calls from certain individuals, vendors, I guess, or people that Rowells has hired for pre-inspection, and they're telling us that this Wednesday they will be blasting. So we've been given a date that this Wednesday, and that's why I'm concerned that where do we stand with that? I don't think that they can blast.
They can't blast without a permit. They haven't filed an application for a permit as of yet, so
Okay.
that's what we know for a fact.
Yeah, and I mean, our concern is that, we've asked Rowells, and to go back with the whole rezoning thing and the documentation part, they're not giving us any documentation. We are open to having this rock blasted or whatever you need to do, but they're not providing us any information or any documentation how they're going to protect us. Nothing against Rowells, but this is our home, and they're blasting 15 feet off one of our residents' property line. And what's up with our warranty on our foundation? What are we going to do when anything happens to windows? Who do we contact to avoid a he said, she said situation? And we're not getting any of that. And so we're very, very concerned. And we're not trying to uphold them, but we don't want it to happen until we kind of get what we need too, our comfort. I know there's another way that this can be done. And I know that Rowells has said time is money, money is time. But there's other ways to do it, and it's less invasive to our homes. That's it. Thank you very much.
You bet, thank you. If we get any more information, we'll pass it along.
Thank you.
Okay, next up was Mr. Black. You spoke during are you good? I'm good. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Debbie Vitale, who also spoke earlier. Would you like to address things further?
Hi, again. So, when Karen was talking about the blasting, none of us in the subdivision knew, except for the ones they said were within 250 feet of the blast zone. Well, we already have neighbors that have been complaining about repairs that Rowells has not made. They said, oh, it's in our contract, we'll come back, we'll repair it. And I've had multiple neighbors tell us they're not repairing it. So until Karen and a couple of others notified us in the subdivision, none of us knew about the blasting. So Rowells had sent out a letter, I can't remember if it was a letter or an email, to several of the residents, and they said, okay, we'll get together with you guys. You want to know what's going on, come meet us up at the blast area. So that's like phase 3, I think, of the subdivision. And so we were talking to, I can't remember his name, David? Robert W. And so we were talking to him, and the letter states that they're going to do the blasting at night. But then he's saying, oh no, we're not going to blast at night. He just got contradicting himself. And that's just not good business. So I am worried about that. I'm worried. So in addition to the small houses they want to put in, then they're going to expand in the back also And then all that's going out to, right there at Main and Park Hills Parkway. So where's all this traffic gonna go? You know, they're coming out, and if they're coming off where they want to put those 12 houses, and then they're coming off the back as well, there's only 2 entrances to the subdivision. And like those who live on the newer section, there's no other entrance or exit. You know, we have to go up to the Park Hills Parkway to get out. So I'm just saying, I just don't think it's right that they're contradicting themselves and kind of hiding things in the corner. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Scott Foley. Scott here? Okay, and the last person I have on the list is Philip Zurillo. You spoke right, you want to?
Yeah, I want to speak about something else, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So, yeah, I want to talk about the blasting. So, my home, Tammy and my home, is right behind where they're going to blast. We're at ground zero, 15 feet where they want to blast. Okay. What I want to talk about first is when we talked to them, we talked to Robert Duffy, who is their director of development, and we said, well, why do we have to blast here? Why don't you guys just chip out like you chipped out all the rock out of everybody's foundation, all of that stuff, like they've already chipped to dig part of the sewer to tie into the main line. He told me it's too expensive. Okay? That's not a good excuse to put all of our homes at risk because you want to save money. Why are you going to put my home, all of these good people's homes at risk because you want to save money? Okay, that doesn't fly with us. They can do that. They can chip it out. That won't cause any problems with our homes, our foundation. There will be some seismic activity going on. There will be some shaking, but it won't be like what we're going to see with blasting. So that's my first comment on that. You know, and just like Deb was saying, you know, they've been very, very, very dishonest with us. And I want to get into all of it because that's not why we're here. But we can't trust them. Nobody can trust them that bought a home from them, that I know. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to talk about, the blasting. So if they can't, if they don't want to chip because it costs too much, why can't they reroute it to some place where there isn't rock? Okay, why do they got to go right in this area? I know that was all part of the drawing and all part of the schematic that was approved, but why not move that somewhere else? You know, let's look at other options as rather than putting people's homes at risk. Okay. So they do want to do a pre-site survey, which I want them to. And I got a letter, a certified letter saying that this is that we refused one, that they're going to put us on a list that we did not accept our entertaining offer. Okay. So I don't understand where that's coming from this company. They can't do that to us. I mean, I just got a certified letter. To me, that might be one means of communicating that could be documented. Emails are not in Missouri that I know of. I mean, maybe I don't think even the city of Troy, and you send somebody an email, you can say they've been set on notice, okay? With all the spam filters and all that stuff, I got 3 or 4 emails, so, you know, the email cannot be one. So they're telling me in the certified letter that I've refused my right to a survey. So when they do put in their permits, hopefully you all, before you approve it, whoever approves it, will make sure that we all, the clock can start ticking then. Now let the residents know it's time to get your pre-site survey. Why would we want people in our house before something's even approved? You know, strangers coming in our house. Okay, so there's like a lot of bodies in that, but just joking. So, you know, I'm just saying that's one of the things that the way they're doing is they're kind of trying to strong arm us and move this along. So, from what I'm hearing from you, Mr. Mayor, nobody has a permit to do it yet. So there's no way they'll be blasting on Wednesday?
No.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure that was clear. And then also, when they do get a permit, can we make sure that they start the clock over, that the residents will get a chance to have their pre-site survey, pre-blast survey?
Once we get our permit application in, we'll sit down and review all these concerns and make sure that we touch base with everybody.
Yeah, because, okay, great. And then the last thing is the condition of our home right now. Our foundation has at least 7 cracks in them right now, and 4 of them have leaked that they fixed. What's the shaking going to do, man? you know. I also do know that there's supposed to be some monitoring done during this, all throughout the blasting. We don't get a chance to see what those seismic readings are, or whatever the PPV, the peak particle velocity is. You know, we won't get to see that unless we have problems. You know, then we got to go to the courts, and then we got to, you know, then it's all that mess. I'd rather just avoid that. But I would ask also, is there any way that when you do get a permit or you do approve it, that they can put a seismograph on our house? And not just out there, one that everybody can be open and see. Because then there won't be any, you know, there won't be anything under the table, if you will. It'll be open knowledge, everybody will know, right at this point, at this house, which is probably 80 feet from their blasting site, you know, this is what the seismic was felt. And then we'll know if they went over their 1.5 range or whatever the case may be, so.
We can certainly present that option to them.
Because, you know, these folks that's behind here that spoke tonight, these are our forever homes.
Sure.
Like Terry said, we moved to Troy because we thought it was moving up.
Right.
You know, we want to be able to stay here. And if we can't afford to keep our house, you know, standing, then we got to move. And you don't want these kinds of citizens out of your city, guys. You don't. They're great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I believe that covers all the citizen comment cards. We'll move on to unfinished business. We have new business. No, nothing under unfinished. We have new business. First is bill number 1437. This is for the first reading. An ordinance adding a chapter 410 subdivision regulations by establishing section 410.125 requiring public improvements maintenance guarantees. That's the first reading on that bill. Second reading will be next month, and then we'll have a motion and debate. Item B, bill number 1438, an ordinance updating table 4, attachment 1, table 1, building, planning and zoning, stormwater, and water and sewer connection fees. And that's first reading only. Item C, bill number 1439, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Troy, Missouri, employing special counsel. Second reading, bill number 1439, an ordinance for the Board of Aldermen of the City of Troy, Missouri, employing special counsel. The board will entertain a motion to approve item C.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Laws, seconded by Alderwoman Dooner. Any questions on this item?
Is this the special counsel we talked about for the boards?
It is. Yes, and the agreement's in your book there about the education and the things in planning zones. No other questions? I'll have the clerk call the roll, please.
Laws?
Yes.
Peter?
Yep.
Dooner?
Yes.
Warner?
Yes.
Huffman?
Yes.
Wallace?
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session for legal and personnel. Have a motion by Alderman Laws. Can I get a second? Alderman Horner, I believe, was the second. Call the roll, please.
Laws?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Dooner?
Yes.
Warner?
Yes.
Huffman?
Yes.
Wallace?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all for being here tonight.